Welcome back. The time has come. We are officially starting to work on the GT. I don't have any footage of this. I really wish that I did, but I fired the car up and it actually ran and it didn't sound too bad. Even with the burnt vacuum lines, back leaks everywhere, didn't skip a step. I only left it run for a minute, and that was long enough to make sure there was no smoke showing, see if wires were touching. I wanted to kind of see where the fire started. Didn't see nothing, and I brought it to the garage and shut it off. Disconnected the battery, I took the battery out, and now we're actually going to start on it. I'm going to go a different path with this than what I originally wanted. I wanted to have it washed and cleaned before I brought it into the garage, but I've been debating on really what to do as to the best way really to get the fire extinguisher powder off without making a bigger mess really. So in the introduction video that I have of this car, I walked around the car. I kind of showed you basically what I was dealing with. Now what I'm dealing with, the best way to try and keep it cleaned is get rid of all the residue. I'm going to try vacuuming as much as I can, and then I'm going to try to blow it, but I want to be able to push the car outside to do that, because I don't want it blown throughout the garage. The motors, it's good. I am going to put the other motor in, which at some point I'll get to that video. I'll get back to it. But anyway, this one's still good. I know it's going to need gaskets changed, definitely, at least up near the top end, for sure. But I think what I want to do, the route that I'm going to go, obviously I want this motor to come out, so I'm going to pull the front end off. I'm going to also pull the fenders, and I'll clean those separately. And the reason for that is, once I blow it, I don't want the powder to be tucked away anywhere else until after the motor's out, and then I can clean the rest of it up. Yeah, there's even some heat back there. You can see that. That's not rust. That is this protectant crap. That foamy, fluffy shit. Insulation. But, yeah, I want to strip as much as I can of it, get it as cleaned up as possible. I'd love to paint this. We'll see what my budget looks like. And we'll go from there. I'm going to go ahead and pull the motor. I'm going to give myself enough space here in the garage, since I didn't get to move to my workbenches around to how I wanted them. So I'm kind of limited on space still here in the front. That can still change. I just got to figure a couple things out. But for right now, I have plenty of room. I can go around the car, behind the car. I got plenty of room on each side. So I'm going to leave the car here. And I'm going to go ahead and get it jacked up, get it up on jack stands. And maybe get the tires taken off. That way those are already off. Get them tucked away so they're safe and sound out of the way as well. And then we're going to go ahead and probably start taking some of the front end off. I want to take the hood off. It'll make it so much, there'll be so much more room. And I also got to figure out what kind of repair I'm going to do to it. It's not burnt through. There is heat damage. I'll show you. So my lug nuts are aftermarket, and they're basically a spike. I'll show you what they look like on. I love them. I do need to get new ones, but anyway, they look like that. But I love them. I think they look really good. The only thing I don't like about them is when you're not thinking and you walk by and you catch your leg on it. It hurts, but hopefully I'll get some new ones. Now that we have the lug nuts loose, we'll go ahead and jack it up and get ready to take the tires off. I'm going to try and get this up as high as I can to give me as much room as possible to work underneath. Jack stands that I'm going to use is the black jack, so hopefully you can see that. Back up, Bubba.
Okay.
Now we're going to go ahead and get the passenger side jacked up. The lug nuts are already loose. I left the driver's side tire on just in case if something would by chance happen where the car fell, but just for that safety precaution until this side's up. Alright, driver's side's still sitting flat. Now to set it on the jack stand. We got the wheels off both sides. Other than a little dirty, it don't look too bad. Bushings in the back look good. Tie rods are good and stiff. There's no movement. A lot of cleanup. This will be the best time to do it because this car's, once it's done, it'll just be me driving it. So it'll either be going to the, taking myself to work or a car show, or if I go somewhere by myself, this car will be just for me. With baby number 4 on the way. Can't fit everybody in here. Okay, so with this I-beam here, I can't get my hood up enough. So I'm just going to one-hand this. I already disconnected the washer line. I connected here at the hood. And I already broke these 2 nuts loose. They're 13 millimeter. I'm using deep wells for this. And once I get the hood off, I'm going to put the nuts back on to the studs. That way I know where they are. And then once the wife gets home, because I don't want to get too far ahead of myself, I have the wife picking up some Ziploc baggies so I can bag and label everything. While carefully watching the windshield, we're going to go ahead and try to get this up more. Wasn't too bad. I'm going to go ahead and remove this now. And carefully set it down. Wasn't too bad. I don't want to drag it if at all possible. I know you guys probably can't see me. I'm going to go ahead and start taking all the rubber pieces off. My next step I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pull the grill off. This don't look too bad. I have another one that came from the parts car. For temporary, I'm just going to set it on top of the trash can. This one, yeah, she's burnt. Oh. The vacuum line piece too. Yeah. She's cooked. That's garbage. This I'm just going to hang up right up here. So I don't accidentally throw that away. I decided to put this outer edge up. 7mm for the grill. I got to get myself a drill for this easy stuff. That one's free. And my socket fell out. These bolts are together. Now the grill comes off. Not too bad a shape. The smaller parts, I'm going to throw it into the back of it, just to keep it organized and also things stay cleaner. And I wouldn't want something bad to happen to them either. 13 for these, for the latch, for the hood. Keep putting sockets away as we're done with them. I also have spare bolts too as well from the junkyard from that car. I know a couple of them I'm probably going to need. Something to keep in mind whenever you go and actually do this yourself, whether you're replacing the radiator. On the back side of this latch to where it meets the radiator support up top, there's this washer. It needs to go in behind. So you have your stud, your latch goes in it, behind the latch goes your washer, and then you tighten it down. Just something to keep in mind. And sometimes you forget about it, and when those washers drop, they drop pretty quickly, and then it might be going forever. So I'll set those there because that's where I know where those go. I know what they go to. Down here looks to be a 10 for the ambient air temp sensor. Okay. I think I got a lot. Okay. Didn't know that. Any plug, any sensor, anything that I would disconnect, I'm going to go ahead, just to make it easier on myself, I'm going to label everything. I'm not going to take this temp sensor off. Once I pull the headlights out, this wiring harness should just wrap around the cross so it can stay there. If I find out differently, I'll make sure it's fixed right, but looks to be pretty simple. It's connected into this harness right here, so we'll keep that going as well. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to take this radiator top support out. These ones are 10mm bolts. And I'm actually only just missing one. I already took this one out and didn't realize I wasn't recording. And as well, I'm going to keep them together because I know what they go to. That watches my videos, especially for when it comes to this car and you follow along, some parts that I'm going to need is I need a hood latch cable because this one's broke. It's also broke underneath the dash as well, so I have to use the screwdriver to pop it, but just for future reference I need to get one, and I forgot to get one while I was at the junkyard. Now the radiator support's off. And it can go and sit with my grill because it can go into the back of the car. Okay, the next part that I'm going to pull, I'm going to leave my tent out because I'll be using it here shortly. I'm going to go ahead and take my bumper support off. And these should be 13mm if I'm not mistaken. Yes. Oh, I was missing some bolts on the other side, and I have them from the junkyard as well. There's a bumper bolt. That one's a small one. That one can stay there. And there's my other two bolts. The bumper support's off. I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to get this wiring taken off. Go ahead and remove these 4 10mm bolts and remove this little cross member support, whatever it might be, out of the way. This one was already off, but over here I found that they just kind of slide down. And then in the center here you have Christmas tree ones. I call them Christmas trees. I need to get one of those little screwdriver deals that the body panel pull or whatever to make those easier. And that wiring harness runs underneath the car, but I'm not worried about that right now. I'm just focusing on the front. Try to get as much out of the way as I can. 10mm again for those bolts. I gotta tell the wife to pick up some light bulbs. And now this comes off and it's out of the way. On to with the other parts. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and start draining the antifreeze out. The petcock is right here. And there's a drain hole that's just going to come straight out of, and I'm just going to leave it go into this bucket. And then we can start working more with up top. You don't have to pull it out like I did. I also have the radiator cap on. Once I let it drain a little bit, then I'll take the radiator cap off and it'll come out a lot easier, but I just don't want to make a big mess out of this. Now that the antifreeze is all drained out into the bucket and a little bit on the floor here, I've been looking at the radiator and the intercooler, and they're very clean. A little bit of messed up fins here, some bugs and stuff, but nothing that maybe a soft brush couldn't fix, or grab the power washer and put a widespread on it and try to blow that shit out. I don't know what I'm going to do now with the intercooler. I had plans to buy a buff and polish set, and I wanted to see how well I could do it. But this one's black, and the other one, it's still aluminum, but I don't know, we'll see. I think the next step I'm going to do is get my radiator hoses up top and bottom disconnected, and also disconnect the fan. A new day. Actually, it's been more than a day. It's been actually quite a while. A lot of things come up, so I had to not work on the car. But anyway, today we're going to go ahead and we're going to get the radiator and the intercooler out. I might try to pull the fenders too. I know these rails on the sides for like the motor mount and the transmission mount, I know those are in the way, but I think what I really want to try to do to finish this one up is try to get some of the exterior parts out. I'll have to go back through and look into it. But the next video, I'm actually going to try to record today as I'm recording this one. So some parts you might see, some parts you might not. Maybe I'll just make it a surprise too. I don't know. But yeah, let's get back to it. I know in earlier of filming this, I didn't have the bags, but I ended up, my wife did come home and she brought me my bags. So all my bolts, they're going to go there, and at the end of the day when I'm done working, I'm going to put them in a bin, and so they stay organized and I know where they're at. I don't think I had an update with the toolboxes, but I finally do have them. They're going to go here in the garage here soon. They're going to go in after I get the motor and transmission pulled out of the car, and the reason being is, as I said, I had some tasks that I had to do, and one of them was fix the damn chicken coop due to the goats. So now I got 2x4 so I can make my legs for the workbenches, so I can get the workbenches set up and I'll have more room up front. This one's got quite a bit of drawers. Along with this. And then this one is one that's kind of beat up, but I might use as a welding cart. I don't know yet. Stay tuned for that one. I'm still thinking about it. In the background, I'll be listening to Gt Art 518. So any music, or if anybody wants to complain because I didn't get his permission, I do have his permission now. My music's going to be changing. I'm learning about the copyrights and the good stuff for YouTube. I don't want to get flagged. So I got some leads towards that, plus better ideas for better editing. But for anybody interested, this gentleman here, he makes quite a bit of glass products, between caps, little knickknacks, what have you. And he does a lot of these lives too. They're great price, they look amazing. Check them out. Gt Art 518 or Chible Slice. Really cool guy, down to earth. His lives are pretty fun. I guess start dropping the intercooler. For that, I believe it was a 13 millimeter. We'll turn that down a little bit. There's 2 bolts on each side. Mine are 13s. I know I still have the intercooler piping connected to it, which is fine. That'll just make it not crash to the floor, I suppose. I'll have to go back to the other side so I can grab it to put these up on the workbench. So I can. Now all I need to do, and I need to be careful because up here I got these AC lines. Let's see, wrong way. I got these lines down here. I'm pretty sure that's for the power steering, if I'm not mistaken. But be careful with that. And I'll make sure that my fan is unplugged. And I'll disconnect anything that's down below as well, except for this intercooler. That'll have to come off whenever I pull everything out. This top one here should be free, if I'm not mistaken. It is. So while I'm here, might as well pull up. Take it off, give it a visual inspection. Think it's toast? I don't know. I started dripping antifreeze once everything came down. So, with that being said, I put my bucket back underneath. I'm sure there's going to be some that comes out of this one too. Loosen that up a little bit like that. And carefully. Where's my other? Yeah. Because if I'm not mistaken, yeah, I kept dumping transmission fluid. Yeah, it's been such a long time since I've driven this damn car. I'm forgetting what all was wrong with it previously. Well, as soon as all this is all drained out, I'm going to go ahead and I'll pull this bottom one. I'm going to loosen the clamp up a little bit here, even though it's already loose, but since there's tension on it, same problem I'll have here if I don't, as I did with on the other. I'd have to try to slip it on and get it to slide off. So I'm going to stick my knee under here. Not much of a mess at all. And it looks like the fan looks to be unplugged. Perfect, so we can start to drop this all down carefully. The fan is plugged in. That's unplugged. That's disconnected. I think I'm good to drop it now. Carefully. Again, needing to be careful. I got these 2 lines up here, so those look to be 13s. If it's the AC, I know there's no pressure in it. Perfect. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the nuts back where they went. Less of a chance to lose them. And I will store this out of the way. Probably where I'll forget where it's at because it's going to be so far out of the way with nothing near it. Can I see you? Hello. Now, we have full access to this. So this is what I'm looking at. The first thing you're going to see is this bolt. Yeah, I'm kind of confused about that myself. My bad. See, obviously the oil leak has been coming from the power steering pump. I did have this out before, and I checked these hoses to see if a hose was cracked, but it's not. But the nice thing here is I have that other power steering pump that was dry. So I'll be able to put this on and see. But another thing I'm excited for is all that is going to be gone. I got purple power. I know there's a lot better other stuff, plus engine degreaser, but I found purple power really does work quite well. And I will still get engine degreaser because I want to get the other motor cleaned up, and I might paint it, but we'll see. Next thing I'm going to start to do is go ahead and start taking the piping off, and then try to get to the turbo and get the air filter off. Don't really have to be careful with these lines. I want to try and get as much exposed as possible. So I'm not going to keep this setup. I didn't like it. I might not even have it adjusted right. I think it's the 8-pound spring is what everybody was saying. Mine's like a cheap knockoff one, so who knows. But I'm not keeping this setup. I'm going to go back to stock. I have the insert that originally went to this, but you can see it's got some cracks, and I don't think the other one did. Maybe just for the hell of it, for fun, if I can get 150 likes on this video. Nah, can't do that. Whenever I do get up to 500 subscribers and at least 150 views per video, I'm going to do a giveaway, and I'm just going to give, let's adjust you a little bit, this blow-off valve. I don't know if it's any good. Hell, if you want this, I'll give it to you too. I don't care. But and I even have the spring for it, the other spring. I just either didn't have it dialed in right, or because of it being cheap, maybe it's junk. I don't know. But at 500 subscribers, I'll do a giveaway, and everything here, plus the other spring for it, will go with it. And this one's ruined as well, so I'm just going to take it off. I thought there was a hole for a second. Come on. I didn't think this clamp was that tight. I'm going to go ahead and pull that off. Ooh, now we can start to see if there's any damage to the electronics. Any of the electrical. I need to get another light. There, now I might be able to see. Try and get this out of the way. You can see there was fire here. A lot of powder yet from the fire extinguisher. There's a little bit of heat damage here, but the wiring looks okay. But we'll double check everything too. Oh, very fragile, that's for sure. That one. Burnt plastic. Come in here. This one looks okay. Any damage that we can see? A little bit of heat. Wires look good. I'm going to do some tests on the wiring as well, just to be safe, but that'll be for another time. I'm going to go ahead and release my throttle cable. I'm going to have to probably set you guys down in order to do this, but we'll try it one-handed. Nah, we can't. So to release the cable, you open the throttle the whole way, and then you rotate until your cable lines up with the hole, and then you just slide the head part of the out. And then for this one, the inside one, same way, but you have to go through the outside hole as well. So keep in mind, if you ever do have to take it off, take your throttle cables off. Outside comes off first, and then the inside comes through the outside. See if we see any more damage here. Oh, back here is kind of hard to see. There's so much powder and stuff. But I'm just trying to get the motor, the transmission out. That way I can just get everything cleaned up, and then as I'm ready to, you know, switch parts, because I don't want the plastic intake. I want to keep the metal. Obviously I'm going to clean it. I might sandblast it. I can get my hands on a sandblaster now. And I might repaint it. We'll see. I'm still looking for car paint. And I want to stay with the tangerine pearl, but it seems to be kind of hard. And the online sites, I don't know if I think they're too bright. And this is like more of a darker one, so. I thought it was the PVE code, but it's not. It seems to be too light, and the stores near me don't have it. So I'm going to go and do my VIN and try to get my code for that one. But anyways, I want to go ahead, take these vacuum lines off the back of the intake here. I'm going to take that one off, take this one off. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pull this part of the intake off. And then that should be almost cleared enough to start getting ready to dismount below, so I can drop the motor and the trans. How I was going to do it before, I wanted to drop everything together, but I'm not now. I might still, I don't know. But I'm pretty sure I have to pull the K-frame. I'll look into it. But let's pull the top of the intake off. So this is before my time. I'm assuming this stripped out and the bolt wouldn't work anymore. It wouldn't hold. So this one was a 13 on the bottom. I just cracked it loose. But the other bolts are 10s. And I'm going to work from the center and work my way out. I'm just going to loosen them a little bit. Is it going to cause any damage if you don't? No, but I usually start from the center and work my way out. We'll go ahead and we'll get the bolts out and look inside. So I'm going to go ahead and start getting these clamps. This one looks like crap. It's really corroded and junk from the fire. Whoa. The clamp's plenty loose, it's just stuck to the rubber. So I'm probably going to have to, it'd be a good idea to replace the hose anyway. Yeah, like it's not even budging yet off the rubber. Oh, it just broke. That's lovely. But we got the hose off. We'll set that out of the way. Probably get a new PCV valve too. And then this line just runs from the back of the intake over to your booster. Well, that came off nice and easy. I got my throttle cable off the bracket. I got my sensor here unplugged. This should roll back easy. Make sure there's no more bolts. So before I go too much further, I have some cloth, some clean cloth rags. I just don't want to get stuff in there. Yes, I know it's coming off, but still, same from getting inside the motor for now. I do want to save it, and I think I do want to rebuild it. Oh, my poor chrome cap. It will clean up. Underneath all that ugly, they're still shiny. It don't look like my coil pack was hit too hard. What do the wires look like? Oh, they look okay. Cruddy. They look okay. Yeah. So, starting to get somewhere. I'm going to end it for this video. I'm sure it's going to be short. I need to get some things adjusted and get ready for the motor pull and the transmission. But we're getting closer. At least we're finally working on it again. Next video, I'm going to start getting everything separated from the transmission and the motor. Another reason why it kind of took me so long is, of all my tools, I don't have any 18s. I need an 18mm wrench. One I used to make a different tool for to help somebody else, and my other 18, I don't know where it went. So I got a brand new one, and I'm only going to need it one time, and that should just be for the flywheel to clutch. Please hit that like button. Leave a comment. Let me know how crappy this video was, because I know it's crappy. It took me a while. But I'm going to try to make my editing cool. Probably not. We'll figure it out. But thank you for watching. Stay tuned for the next one.